It went very well. This is my first time in Berlin, and I'm here primarily for two reasons. One, to do the panel here at the film house, and then the other reason was also because I'm an executive producer on a film called In the Shadow of a Man, which premiered here as part of Panorama. So I'm here for two reasons. The panel was a panel I very much enjoyed. It was a panel primarily around, it took a kind of sequential view of archiving in relation to Egypt. So actually from a film that was made, starting from a film about the pyramids, taking the use of the pyramids within Egyptian cinema, all the way through different stages of Egyptian filmmaking and Egyptian archiving, up to what I was primarily involved in. I'm part of an organisation called Musserrin, which is based in Cairo. It's an alternative media collective, which is part of my film-related work as well. And it has become responsible for a large part of the archive from the revolution from the 25th of January onwards in Egypt. So that was my participation in the talk. And then on to a great presentation that was done at the end about imaginary archives. Anyway, it was beautiful. And then the other aspect is that I'm involved with the film In the Shadow of a Man. Production company in Cairo called Zero Production, but I'm also related to the three major spaces which are working on the cultural and media front. So Zero Production, which is a film-related production company, Musserrin, which is this alternative media collective that I was telling you about, and Cinematech, which is a film center. I have been in Egypt throughout the revolution, since it started. From the 27th of January onwards, I've been in Cairo. I've been very heavily involved in every sit-in, almost every march that has taken place since then. But I'm very heavily involved, as well as a citizen, I'm very heavily involved on the media front and the citizen journalism, whether in relation to the archive or in relation to media activism. So filming a lot of the military abuses, finding ways to distribute that information. I was part of something called Tahrir Cinema, which was that we took the archive and we screened it every night in the square to an audience of 400 or 500 people a night, screening footage from the revolution, which has resulted in a whole series of different actions and yeah. So the Kite Runner is the film which, so far in my career, that I'm most famous for as an actor. It was my second film, my first film as the lead actor in the film. It brought for me, both from a career perspective and personally, some substantial changes. I learned a language for the film, and with that comes a whole cultural experience. I spent a month in Afghanistan. I was living with Afghans and Iranians for a significant period of time. I'm originally Egyptian, so my relationship with the Middle East is more Arab than it is Persian. So in big part, giving that fullness to me was an extraordinary gift that the film gave me. But on the other level, it's a film which, in my opinion, is very much, it's one of the films that stand out in Hollywood's relationship with the wider Middle East, or with issues of, it's complicated to say because the Middle East and the Arab world and Islam often get mixed together, and of course they're very different. But it's a film that it's one of the few films from Hollywood which starts from the perspective of your relationship with that part of the world is built on a human story. Rather than war, rather than terrorism, rather than all of these things. So so that was a big part of my relationship with the film, and why it remains important to me and was important to me. Working with Mark is a joy. He is he's a master of cinema, in my opinion, he really, the way that he treats film technically, I had the benefit of watching, and that for me was very interesting. I mean, I've been very lucky that I've worked with very special directors who have a very whose craft-like approach to filmmaking is radically different but committed. So I've worked with Paul Greengrass, who is entirely different to Mark Forster in the way that they work. But with both, you see a different approach to filmmaking. And with Mark, I saw a way of making films that I could understand and appreciate, even just by being on set. So there are many different things that I take with me from the Kite Runner. And I've been lucky enough in the films that I've made at each stage to do something which has a strong relationship with what is happening with the world. I've made films about 9/11, about Afghanistan, about Iraq, and now about Egypt. I've been lucky enough to make films which have taken me at each stage in a different relationship with languages, with issues that are changing our world. So the Kite Runner was part of that and remains part of that for me. It's not normal that you do a film and build a relationship with a country, build a relationship with the people. And that's part of what I did with the Kite Runner. I have about 7 or 8 projects currently on the go. I don't know what I am, and the two most difficult questions for me are, where are you from and what do you do?